In 2025, the average UK household spent over £100 more per month on basic necessities compared to just 2 years ago. Energy bills? Up by 54%. Food prices? Highest rise since 1977. Rent? Surging faster than wages. And no, it's not just inflation. Something deeper is broken. You feel it every time you fill up your car, pay your electricity bill, or do your weekly shop. But here's the kicker. While your expenses skyrocket, big companies are reporting record-breaking profits. So, where's all your money really going? In this video, we're breaking down the 10 biggest reasons why the cost of living in the UK feels completely out of control. And some of them will genuinely surprise you. From energy giants cashing in to policies no one's talking about, you're about to see the full picture, stripped of headlines and political spin. Have we passed the point of no return? Are we in a new normal where affordability is a thing of the past? Stick around, because by the end of this video, you won't just know what's happening. You'll understand why it's happening. And trust me, once you see reason number 7, you'll realize how deeply this crisis affects not just your wallet, but your future. Number 1. Soaring energy prices. Let's start with the one you've definitely felt: energy prices. Between 2021 and 2024, the average annual energy bill in the UK more than doubled, peaking at over £2,500 per household. That's not just a blip, it's a seismic shift in daily life. And while the government offered temporary rebates, the long-term picture? Still brutal. So, what's behind the spike? One word: dependence. The UK imports about half of its energy: gas, electricity, oil. When global prices surge, like they did after Russia's invasion of Ukraine, we feel it fast and hard. And because we lack strong energy reserves or rigid price caps like other nations, households take the hit immediately. But it goes deeper. High energy prices don't just hurt your bills, they make everything else more expensive. Transport becomes pricier. Farming costs more. Refrigeration, manufacturing, logistics all shoot up, which means the cost of groceries, clothing, and even public services follow right behind. Now brace yourself. In 2023, oil giants like BP and Shell posted record-breaking profits, while UK families cut back on heating to afford basic groceries. The wealth transfer? From your pocket to theirs. And there's a long-term issue nobody likes to talk about. The UK has underinvested in renewables and domestic energy for decades. Countries with strong solar or wind grids had buffers. We didn't. So this wasn't just unfortunate, it was predictable. You're not imagining it. That constant dread when the heating kicks in? It's the sound of an energy system built for profit, not people. And this is just reason number 1. Number 2. Broken housing market. Now let's talk about a crisis that feels permanent: housing. In cities like London, Manchester, and Edinburgh, rent prices have soared by over 25% in just 3 years. Buying a home? The average UK house price hit over £290,000 in 2024, while wages remained largely stagnant. For many young people, the dream of owning a home feels more like a joke. Why? It's a mix of bad planning, poor policy, and investor greed. The UK hasn't built enough affordable homes for decades. Local councils sold off public housing during the 1980s and barely replaced any. Add in strict zoning laws and endless red tape, and you get a housing supply that can't meet demand. But here's the twist. Foreign investors, many with no intention of ever living here, have been buying up UK properties by the block. Some luxury flats sit empty for years, just assets on paper, while families squeeze into overpriced one-bedrooms. Private landlords have also capitalized, raising rents while knowing tenants have few options. With rent caps dismantled and demand rising, tenants are stuck in bidding wars for basic shelter. The result? A nation where people are working full-time and still can't afford secure, decent housing. Rent or mortgage payments now consume over 40% of income for many households, well above the 30% affordability threshold most experts recommend. And let's be clear, this isn't just uncomfortable, it's unsustainable. So let's make this personal. Have rising rents or mortgage stress affected your life? Drop a comment below and share your story. It could help others feel seen. And if you're finding this breakdown helpful, subscribe for more no-spin insights on the issues that actually impact your everyday life. Number 3. Stagnant wages. Let's cut to the chase. Your paycheck hasn't kept up. While living costs sprint ahead, wages have barely limped forward. Over the past 15 years, real wage growth in the UK has been nearly flat. In fact, when adjusted for inflation, many people are actually earning less today than they did in 2008. And we're not just talking minimum wage jobs. Teachers, paramedics, social workers, people in roles that literally hold the country together. Their paychecks have stayed frozen while everything else, childcare, rent, groceries, has soared. It's like the entire economy is leaning forward. Except your income. What's worse? It's not an accident. It's the system working exactly as designed. The rise of zero-hour contracts, part-time gigs, freelancing with no benefits, has turned stable jobs into flexible insecurity. On paper, employment is high. In reality, millions are juggling 2 or 3 jobs just to scrape by. Meanwhile, productivity has gone up. Workers are doing more. But the rewards? They're going somewhere else. Profits rise, executive bonuses balloon, and ordinary workers are left behind, told to tighten their belts while watching CEOs cash out. Union power has weakened. Pay negotiations have stalled. Public sector salaries are stuck. Even as you work harder, the idea of financial progress feels fictional. And here's the soul-crushing part. It's not just about money. It's about what money represents. Security, future plans, dignity, a feeling that your effort counts for something. When wages stagnate, it's not just numbers in a bank account that suffer. It's morale, identity, and trust in the system. And once that starts to erode, everything gets harder. This is more than a crisis of money. It's a crisis of fairness. Number 4. Brexit fallout. Brexit was sold as a way to take back control. But for millions of Brits, what they got instead was higher prices, fewer choices, and a shrinking economy. Let's start with food. Before Brexit, the UK had frictionless trade with the EU. Goods moved quickly, cheaply, and without extra paperwork. Today, importers face new red tape, customs delays, and added fees, which all get passed on to you at the till. A study from the London School of Economics found that Brexit alone raised food prices by nearly 30% since 2019. That's not global inflation, that's Brexit-specific. And it's not just about groceries. Labor shortages, especially in farming, transportation, and healthcare, have intensified since the end of free movement. Farms have struggled to find seasonal workers. Supermarkets saw empty shelves. The NHS has faced even deeper staffing gaps. These are not abstract headlines. They touch your dinner plate, your bus route, your medical care. Small businesses have also felt the squeeze. Exporters now face mountains of paperwork, unpredictable customs rules, and sudden tariffs. Many have had to raise prices or stop trading altogether. A few have moved operations to the EU just to survive. Even the pound has taken a hit. Since the 2016 referendum, sterling has remained weak against both the dollar and euro. That makes imports pricier, which in turn fuels inflation and weakens household buying power. And here's the kicker. None of this was surprising. Experts predicted it. Warnings were dismissed. Promises were made, but the everyday consumer has seen little benefit. Brexit didn't cause all of the UK's problems, but it's made nearly every single one worse. What was meant to be a moment of sovereignty has, for many, felt like the beginning of economic suffocation. Number 5. Food supply chain disruption. Imagine this. It's 6 a.m., and a supermarket lorry is supposed to deliver fresh fruit to a regional store. But the truck is delayed, again. Why? Because there aren't enough drivers. Or maybe the produce wasn't picked in time because farms can't find enough seasonal workers. Or maybe, just maybe, the goods are stuck in customs. Welcome to the fractured world of the UK's food supply chain. For decades, the UK relied on a delicate, just-in-time model that kept prices relatively low and shelves reliably stocked. But that system has been shredded by a perfect storm. Brexit delays, labor shortages, fuel price hikes, and climate-related crop failures. Take the weather. Droughts and floods in Europe have disrupted harvests. Meanwhile, rising temperatures in supplier countries like Spain and Morocco mean fewer fresh exports, less fruit, fewer vegetables, and higher prices for what's left. Then there's transportation. A chronic shortage of HGV drivers, worsened by Brexit, poor working conditions, and an aging workforce, means even when food is available, it doesn't always reach shelves on time. That delay adds cost at every step, from warehouses to checkout lines. And don't forget fuel. When energy prices soar, refrigeration, packaging, and transport all become more expensive. That added cost? Passed straight to you. Supermarkets sometimes absorb part of the damage, but not all of it. So your food bill rises, even as your trolley feels lighter. And here's the unsettling part. We're still exposed. One more disruption, a bad harvest, a strike, a fuel crisis, can send prices surging again. The system has no slack. The bottom line: when the food supply chain falters, everything we take for granted, freshness, variety, affordability, starts to collapse. And right now, it's cracking under the weight of too many compounding crises. Number 6. Tax increases and austerity. If you feel like you're paying more and getting less, you're not imagining things. That's exactly what's happening, and it's called austerity. In recent years, the UK government has raised multiple taxes that hit working and middle-class households the hardest. National insurance contributions increased, council tax bills ballooned, and here's the sneaky part: income tax thresholds haven't kept pace with inflation. So even if your salary hasn't changed, you're still paying more in tax. It's called fiscal drag, and it's quietly draining your earnings. But what makes it worse is what you get in return: less of everything. Public services, once the backbone of daily life, have been gutted. Libraries shuttered, bus routes cut, mental health services overwhelmed, youth programs vanished. So now, even as you contribute more, the safety nets that once supported communities are fraying beyond repair. And what's left? You're being charged extra for things that were once free. Garden waste collections, £60 a year. Council parking permits, doubled in price. Local leisure centers, privatized or closed. Even NHS services are feeling the squeeze, with longer wait times pushing more people toward costly private alternatives. This isn't just belt-tightening, it's a structural shift, offloading responsibility onto individuals while quietly reducing the role of the state. Meanwhile, the ultra-wealthy can navigate the system with clever loopholes and offshore havens. But for everyone else, it's more tax, fewer services, and no escape route. The result is a slow bleed, one that doesn't make headlines but shows up in your monthly budget, your reduced access to help, your rising stress. This is what austerity really looks like. Not dramatic collapse, but a constant erosion of what used to be guaranteed. And it's one of the biggest drivers behind the cost of living crisis today. Number 7. Childcare and education costs. Raising a child in the UK has quietly become a luxury. And for many families, it's a financial balancing act that feels more like a trap than a choice. Let's start with childcare. The UK has some of the highest childcare costs in the developed world. In many areas, full-time nursery care for a toddler can cost over £1,000 per month, per child. That's more than many people's rent or mortgage. And while the government offers some free hours, they're often limited, hard to access, or don't align with working parents' actual schedules. This leads to impossible decisions. One parent, usually the mother, may reduce their hours or quit work entirely. Not by choice, but because it's the only way to make ends meet. That choice shrinks household income and puts long-term careers on pause. Education isn't much easier. While public school is free in theory, the hidden expenses pile up fast. Uniforms, packed lunches, sports kits, tech requirements, school trips, transport, after-school clubs. Many families spend hundreds each term just to keep up, and for those pursuing better options, like tutoring, exam coaching, or private schools, the costs are eye-watering. These extras are becoming gatekeepers to future opportunity, widening the gap between families who can afford them and those who can't. Even university, once considered a public good, now launches young people into adulthood with tens of thousands in debt. Tuition, housing, books, and food, all without any guarantee of a secure job after graduation. So yes, it's about the kids, but it's also about how families are pushed to the brink just for trying to provide the basics. When education becomes a privilege instead of a right, the entire system starts to break. Number 8. NHS crisis and private healthcare push. For decades, the NHS stood as a symbol of national pride, a safety net that guaranteed healthcare no matter your income. But today, that safety net is wearing dangerously thin. And for many, the only remaining option is to pay out of pocket. Let's start with wait times. Over 7 million people are currently stuck on NHS waiting lists. Need a knee replacement? It could be a year or more. Struggling with anxiety or depression? Mental health services are overwhelmed. Even booking a GP appointment can take weeks. These delays aren't just frustrating, they're changing lives. And as public health care falters, private options are filling the vacuum. Private GPs, virtual doctor services, walk-in diagnostics, all booming. Health insurance companies are thriving. More people than ever are paying just to avoid the endless queue. But this isn't just a temporary fix. It's a quiet transformation. What was once free at the point of use is now becoming tiered by affordability. Those with money jump the queue. Those without question mark left waiting, worrying, or worse, going without entirely. Even basic services like dental care, eye exams, and prescriptions are slipping out of reach. Many NHS dentists no longer accept new patients. Prescription charges inch upward, and emergency departments are overwhelmed, leading to record wait times, even in urgent cases. It's no longer just about funding cuts. It's about expectations shifting. As more people turn to private care out of desperation, the government faces less pressure to restore public funding. The result? A creeping normalization of a two-tier healthcare system. So now, on top of rising rent, food, and childcare costs, you're expected to budget for health, the one thing that was once untouchable. This isn't a temporary strain, it's a quiet dismantling of one of Britain's proudest institutions. Number 9. Transportation chaos. Whether you commute daily or just want to get across town, one thing is clear. UK transportation is in chaos, and it's costing you more than ever. Let's start with the trains. Delays, cancellations, strikes, rising fares, it's a mess. Since 2022, rail fares have jumped by over 12%, while service quality has nosedived. Entire lines shut down during strikes. Even when trains do run, they're overcrowded, under-maintained, and rarely on time. Commuters are paying premium prices for third-rate service. It's not just rail. Bus routes across the country, especially in rural and suburban areas, have been slashed. Some towns have no evening or weekend service at all. If you don't drive, you're stranded. And if you do drive, well, buckle up. Fuel prices are still elevated, insurance premiums have spiked, and repairs cost more than ever. Even basics like new tires or MOT checks have become budget stressors. The alternative? Switch to electric? Good luck affording one. Plus, the national charging network is patchy and unreliable, especially outside major cities. And just when you think it can't get worse, throw in ULEZ charges, clean air zone tolls, higher parking fees, and congestion charges. Getting from A to B now feels like navigating a paywall. But this isn't just about inconvenience. Poor transport access limits job opportunities, school choices, social lives, and healthcare options. It affects the elderly, the disabled, students, working parents, everyone. Transportation used to be the connective tissue of society. Now it's a daily source of stress and debt. The UK isn't just dealing with a cost of living crisis, it's also grappling with a cost of mobility crisis. one that isolates communities and punishes those with the least flexibility. And it's turning simple daily movement into a financial burden. Number 10. Greedflation and corporate profiteering. Inflation is a real problem, but here's what no one tells you. Not all price hikes are necessary. In fact, some are deliberately inflated. Welcome to the world of greedflation. Here's how it works. In times of crisis, like a pandemic, a war, or supply chain disruptions, companies genuinely face increased costs. But some take advantage of that chaos to raise prices well beyond their actual cost increases. They blame inflation, but in reality, they're boosting profits under the cover of economic turbulence. The evidence? It's in the numbers. In 2023, major UK supermarkets, energy giants, and shipping firms posted record profits, even as customers saw record bills. Supermarket chains hiked prices on basics like milk and bread, while executive bonuses hit all-time highs. This isn't guesswork. It's well documented in financial statements and economic analyses. Even the Bank of England acknowledged it. Some sectors were raising prices more than they needed to, fueling inflation from the top down, not the bottom up. It's worse in industries with little competition. When just a few companies dominate, like energy, broadband, or retail, they don't need to collude. They just all raise prices, and no one can afford to opt out. And what about regulators? Often powerless. Watchdogs may launch investigations, but they're slow, underfunded, and politically pressured. By the time anything is done, the profits are banked, and consumers are left footing the bill. The result? You're not just paying more because things cost more. You're paying more because companies realize they could, and no one's stopping them. Greedflation is profit-driven price inflation. It's not an economic fluke, it's a business model. And it may be the most bitter part of the cost of living crisis. You're not just struggling, you're being squeezed on purpose. And there it is. 10 reasons why life in the UK feels more expensive than ever. But which one hits you the hardest? Tell us in the comments. We read every single one. If you found this eye-opening, check out our last video. It dives even deeper into the forces shaping your wallet. We pour serious time and effort into these breakdowns, so if you want to support what we do, hit subscribe. It's free, and just one click makes a huge difference.